Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing this student grade watercolor set made in China by Superior, and it is called Master Level Solid Watercolor. It says that it is an artist transparent watercolor set, but I am not sure if I can classify it really as a professional range. Let's open it, swatch it and review it together. Hello, I'm Elisabetta, an Italian watercolor artist, and I'm with you today for opening, unboxing and swatching this new watercolor set. Let's have a look at the box. It says 48 colors made by Superior. Superior is famous for the fun watercolor set. I have had that. It was very vibrant, but this should be of a superior, excuse the pun, level, an artist grade. Let's see if we can call it an artist grade. It is certified by ASTM, which is an international organization that certifies the labeling. So what does it say? It says that it's made in China, and it's made by this factory, this company called Ningbo Superior Art Material, and that's it. Let's open it. Okay, the packaging reminds me a lot of Paul Rubens, but it is not at all the same company. Here is a very nice paper, watercolor paper, quite thick for swatching, and but we will not be swatching on this today. There is a flannel, very posh, very posh. There is a flannel, a quality control label, and here we have our beautiful box, which is quite a standard box for 48. Let's open it. Two mixing spaces, very handy, so you don't need a separate palette. And our pens, I will open them and put them in place, and then I will come back. These are very easy to unwrap, and as you see, I can just peel the label and glue it on the back. I will do it also with the next one. They're very easy. And okay, so I will just glue the label on the back so I don't lose the information. So I have here the name of the color and the pigment information here, PY35. I will peel them all and I will be back. I'm speeding up the whole process. Great, we're almost finished, and I must say that it was very easy to unwrap this beautiful box of watercolor. They look like confectionery, and it's quick and easy. and it didn't hurt my fingers. So I'm ready to swatch. Let's start swatching immediately. Let's start swatching. I have sprayed my paint, the first 2 rows, so that I could easily reactivate them. For me, this is always the most exciting moments of all, because I have this brand new palette and I'm so excited to try. Once again, I don't know if this can be considered artist grade, like the Paul Rubens set, which is an artist grade by all means, has a very good price point, and I have bought this superior watercolor on AliExpress exactly as the Paul Rubens, so they have some similarities in the look of the box. Let's see if also the paint can be compared. Let's start with titanium white. I have put a black line across my little squares to verify the opacity of colors. You know that transparency is a quality in watercolor, but titanium white, which is the pigment PW6, should be opaque. It's an opaque white. So let's see right now. I hope it doesn't bleed the black line that I have put with a Sharpie. And yes, it's quite opaque, as you see. Doesn't bleed. And this is our white. Let's go now to what they call skin. Skin is actually a yellow because it is PY35, which is cadmium yellow. This is very strange because this doesn't look at all like a cadmium yellow. Actually, it looks as though there was some white in it. It's more an apricot, but it says PY35, one pigment, and it's called the skin color, and it is cadmium yellow. Then we have Naples Yellow Light. I think they have inverted the labels because the next one, it's PY53, which is nickel titanium yellow. No, maybe they haven't. A very nice, clean, cold yellow, which I like very much, this nickel titanium. It's not a proper Naples yellow, but it is a good alternative because it is an opaque light yellow. Let's go to PY3, which is Hansa yellow, and it is permanent lemon yellow. Yes, a very cold, quite transparent lemon yellow. Very nice, this one, very vibrant. It's a bit chalky maybe here, can you see? Not completely transparent, but we'll see. Then we go to cadmium yellow medium, and which is quite dark in this version. It's almost an Indian yellow, and it is PY35, which is cadmium yellow. It's very vibrant, only I wouldn't maybe call it medium because it is quite warm. Then we have permanent yellow medium, PY65, and this is more yellow medium. It is transparent, more transparent, not so transparent maybe. Then we go to transparent medium yellow, which is PY65. Once again, same pigment of the permanent, but this time is transparent. Let's see the difference between the two medium yellows. One is transparent and one is medium. I don't see this one being very transparent. I think that it looks very much the same as the previous one. You see, they look very much the same on the pan, and it's not transparent, same pigment, so, but it is vibrant and nice. Then we have PY 150, which is gamboge. Gamboge, it's a warm yellow, and it has a nice flown paper. I'm not wetting the paper first, so but I have no problems at all in watering down. It's quite transparent, this PY 150, this gamboge. It's warm, just like the previous ones, but this is transparent. Then we have another warm yellow. They have so many yellows, which is Indian yellow, PY 83. And it is almost yellow-orange. It's slightly granulating, and I think it is very pretty, very pretty. The permanent cadmium yellow was also slightly orangey, but this is prettier, much prettier. Let's go now to cadmium orange yellow. Cadmium orange yellow, it's PO20, which is the pigment of cadmium orange yellow. And I realize now that all the paints that we have swatched so far are single pigment, which for me it's a sign that this can aspire to be a professional range. This cadmium orange yellow is very beautiful. It's not so opaque and very vibrant, with some separation. You can see some yellow. Then we have cadmium orange that is PY 150, which is the same pigment of this gamboge, and it is an orange. It's not very different. It's maybe slightly darker from the cadmium orange yellow, but I don't see why there are two oranges so similar. And then we go to PO 73, which is pyrrole red, and here it's called permanent orange red. It's an opaque color. Let me water it down. It's very opaque, and it is a reddish orange. It's a color that in my life I use very, very little. I like very much this type of orange, but this dark orange I use very, very rarely. I could easily take this off my palette and replace it with something more useful. Then we go to Scarlet, third row. Scarlet is PR 123, and it is a cold red, very vibrant, very transparent, very nice, very nice. And then we go to magenta, which is the real pigment of magenta, PR 122, which is quinacridone magenta, and it's very, very nice. Quinacridone colors are very light, fast, very vibrant, very transparent. I must say that I love all my quinacridone colors. So this is magenta. It's a beautiful magenta. It's almost a violet. Let's go on with the Chinese red. Chinese red is a very common pigment. They call it Chinese red, but it is actually pyrrole red, like Lucas red, or in other brands are just pyrrole red or permanent red. And it's a very warm, super vibrant mixing red, very difficult to use as it is straight from the palette, but Oh, it's a lovely one, I think. Let's see when it dries. It's a bit opaque, I think, but let's wait until it dries. Then we go to cadmium red, which is PR 108. Cadmium red, the real pigment. This is also opaque, as all cadmium should be. And it is another warm red, very intense, very vibrant, very pigmented. So far these colors are beautiful. I must say they're so vibrant and pigmented. I'm amazed. Let's finish the row with rose red, which is PV 19, which is our quinacridone violet, another quinacridone color. And it's almost an opera rose here, as it is treated, and it's very nice. Also, it's a light fast color. Often opera rose is not light fast, so you could use this rose red instead of opera rose and have a light fast result. And then the last one of this row is Madder red, which is PR 177. This pigment is often used as a substitute for alizarin crimson. You know that alizarin crimson is a lovely color. It's great for mixing, but it has some light fastness issues. So if you use this PR 177, you have an alizarin crimson hue, which is perfect as a replacement. And here we have this lovely Madder red, very nice. Okay, the first color of the fourth row is violet, PV 19, always a quinacridone violet. So it's very similar to our rose red, but slightly colder. It's different treatment, very transparent, should also be very light fast. Let's go to purples now. We have royal purple, which is always quinacridone violet, PV 19, plus ultramarine blue. And the result is very beautiful. It's a deep velvety purple, and with a nice range from matte tone to light washes, you see. And it's very nice. And then we have permanent violet, which is dioxazine violet, single pigment. By the way, this royal purple, it's the first time that we have two pigments, because all the other paints so far have been single pigment. So this is dioxazine violet. Let's see the difference. Actually, it's warmer. It's definitely warmer, and I have a passion for dioxazine violet. I would just always go with this permanent violet and let go the royal purple. But the royal purple actually can be useful in shadow, and the dioxazine violet you can use more maybe for florals. Then we go to cobalt blue. Cobalt blue should be very granulating. It is a true pigment, PB28. So I'm very curious about this cobalt blue. It's not too opaque. Sometimes cobalt blue is very opaque. And here it is. I will add more in the matte tone. Very transparent and very granulating. A lovely cobalt blue. I like this cobalt blue. One day I must compare all my cobalt blues. Indigo. Indigo is 3 pigments. Each brand has its own formula, its own recipe. This is not a bluish one. It's almost gray. It's PV19. It's quinacridone violet, phthalo blue, and carbon black, which is black that I don't like very much. It's very dirty. And this indigo is by far not my favorite. I like an indigo which is obviously blue, and this is dark gray, almost a black. And then we go to what they call France ultramarine, which should be French ultramarine, which is basically the same pigment, PB29, but synthetic and not natural origin. And should be slightly warmer than standard ultramarine and definitely more granulating. And we have a beautiful granulation here with our French ultramarine. Beautiful color and beautiful granulation. We go to the fifth row. Now let's spray here also. Okay, let's start with this peacock blue. Peacock blue is this PB17, which is quite unusual. I've seen it maybe in Paul Rubens, and let's see what it gives. It's a cyan, basically. It's a primary blue. It's a cyan. Here it is. It's a lovely one. Let's see the sea blue, which is a color that you find in Paul Rubens as well with this formula, which is PB15 semicolon 3, which is the phthalo blue green shade, phthalo blue green shade, which is perfect for sea and sky. Look at this. It's not very pigmented. It's very delicate, but it's beautiful. A beautiful color. Look at this. You can see clouds. They're not granulating, I don't think so. And then we go to Prussian blue. Prussian blue, which is the pigment that you always have with the Prussian blue. And it is a classic Prussian blue, PB27. Perfect. Now we have a very weird color, penny gray, which is PBK7, which is carbon black. Did I say carbon black here for indigo? No, that was lamp black. PB6 is lamp black, and this is carbon black. And it's a black. It's a black, and I don't know what usage you can have for this, and they call it penny gray, maybe because it's not too opaque, it's quite transparent, and if you dilute it, you can use it for glass or shadow. Then you have Payne's gray. This is another color that has different formulas for each brand. This is made with phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, and ivory black, PBK9, which is a black of animal origin, bone. And you can easily compare it with indigo, which is this. The indigo is, for me, this indigo is really ugly, whereas the Payne's gray is very nice. It is vibrant and not too bluish. It's gray, but indigo, no. Usually they're quite interchangeable, indigo and Payne's gray, but in this case I would only go with Payne's gray, maybe add a touch of phthalo blue. Then we have turquoise light. I'm very specific about turquoise. This is made with PB36, but I'm sure there is some white because it is so opaque, but in any case. This is PB36, which is cobalt oxide. It's a greenish turquoise. It's more an emerald maybe. And this is turquoise light. I'm sure there is some white. Same with the turquoise deep, the next color. From what I see, look at this. There must be. And also this looks much lighter, the turquoise deep, than the turquoise light, which is bizarre. And absolutely this label is completely wrong. This is made with PG26, which is cobalt green dark. So I'm sure they are inverted, but I double checked. This is what they say on the label. So turquoise deep is actually turquoise light, and there is some white, although it's not on the label, I'm quite sure. Let's go on with the malachite green. Sorry if I mispronounce it. This malachite is interesting combination of 3 pigments. This is a combination of P-Yellow 101 and cyan blue, so it might be. So it's cyan blue, this peacock blue, PB17, and a yellow, PY101. And the result is very similar to a phthalo green. It's lovely mixing color, I like it. Then we have emerald green deep, which is phthalo green. Let's see the difference, PG7. And they're very similar. I don't see why they're putting both. I would have limited myself to the PG7, the single pigment, the emerald green deep. Very transparent, very nice. I don't see the need for a multi-pigment copy of this color. Much more transparent, this one. Then we have one of my favorite greens, which is a hooker's green. This is single pigment, the true pigment of hooker's green, which is PG17. Let's see what it gives. It's a bit weak, this one, but very transparent and very nice. Hooker's green Brill Light, this is called. I don't know why, but it's a hooker's green. This is the pigment of hooker's green. Then we have olive green, which is a multi-pigment of 4 pigments, PG36, which is another form of phthalo green, PY12, yellow, PR101, red oxide, iron red oxide, and the white. I don't see the white, and I don't see the necessity of a white. But I don't know, it's very transparent. I don't think there is a white actually. Same formula, identical for the following color, 3 green, but the ratio of the pigments is for sure different. And this is a very nice 3 green. It reminds me very much of the Paul Rubens version of this color. Now we go to the 5th row. Okay, we start with permanent green, which is phthalo green plus yellow, PY74. This is a type of green that I very rarely use. It's very artificial, but for some potted plants in home, maybe you could use it for illustration. I don't like this type of green. Then we have exactly the same formula, but different ratio. And you have yellow green, and these you can use for the tip of the leaves, those leaves on top of trees that are towards the sun. And it's nice also because you see the color separation between yellow and green. And then we go to my favorite area, the area of earthy colors. And we start with this unusual name, Lemon Sienna, which is made with the PY42, which is yellow ochre, and this is impossible because there is, I'm sure, some white in it, and it can be done only with the PY42. This is absolutely impossible for me. There must be a mistake, but it is a nice color. It's an opaque, which sienna is never opaque. It's an opaque sort of lemon yellow. It's a lovely one. I could use this for painting lemons, absolutely. Slightly warmer than lemon yellow, but it's very delicate. Then we have same pigment, PY42, which is the artificial version of yellow ochre. The natural is PY43. and it is opaque, exactly as any yellow ochre should be, and it's quite pigmented. It's a nice yellow ochre. I like it. Then we go to Maple Yellow. This PBR 24. It's a pigment that is often used in Naples Yellow Deep, which is very similar to yellow ochre. Could be a raw sienna, but Naples Yellow Reddish usually has this pigment PBR 24. It's more like a raw sienna in this case. Then we go to Raw Amber, made with PBR 7, which is natural iron oxide, and it's not a raw amber as I'm used, which is usually colder. This is a very lovely warm raw amber, but this is what I call really a raw sienna. This is a raw sienna, and this would be a gold ochre, and this would be a yellow ochre. So this is not a raw amber, it's a raw sienna. But having said this, I have noticed that in Chinese brands they often make mistakes with pen names, but it's a lovely color, this raw amber. It's definitely a raw sienna, but it's lovely. Let's go to the last row. Okay, the first color is amber, which is a mix of red iron oxide and PBR 7, are the two colors that are usually alternatively used for raw sienna, for burnt sienna. So this is by all means a burnt sienna. It's not an amber, it's a burnt sienna, and is absolutely stunning. Look at this rusty, almost orangey undertone. It's beautiful. I think this is one of the most beautiful of the whole palettes. It's a beautiful burnt sienna. It's not an amber. Pozzuoli red also you find it in Paul Rubens, and it is made with PR 101. It is transparent in Paul Rubens palette, and it is opaque here. It's like an English red, a brick color, very useful I find it, both to make bricks, but also for muting your greens. If you mix PR 101 with emerald green, you find a beautiful muted green, for instance. It's slightly colder. Then we go to Van Dyke Brown made with once again PBR 7, natural iron oxide. Van Dyke is an alternative often to sienna, and this is ugly. This is not the Van Dyke. Van Dyke is it's a brown. This is almost a gray, but you know what? You could use it for trunks of trees. Trunks are often painted with brown, but they're not, absolutely they're not brown. Trunks are grayish brown, and Van Dyke could be really used for that, so I will keep it. Then we have burnt sienna. Let's see the difference with the amber. The burnt sienna is here. It's PBR 7, and for me this is not a burnt sienna. This for me is a burnt amber. It's a burnt amber. It's a brown, so no. Lovely colors, but wrong names. Burnt brown. Let's see PBR 7 once again. And this is what I call amber, a raw amber. And it's not an ugly brown. It's nice, it's granulating. And last one, Ivory Black, PBK 9. Our black, not too staining. Here we are. I'll let this paint dry. And now a little demonstration sketch. Okay, I would love to compare these 48 half pans with the other student grade set of 48 paints that I have swatched and reviewed in a previous video, which is Mungyo. I said that I like the colors of Mungyo, they're very vibrant, but I don't like some browns that are too reddish. The earthy tones for me are not the strong, the strength of this Mungyo, and also they use many multi-pigment paint. So I would like to compare some colors that they have in common, Mungyo and Superior, and see which one we prefer. Now we start with yellow ochre. Okay, this is Mungyo. It's lovely, vibrant color. And here is Superior. It wets more easily. It's creamier. It's more pigmented, and it goes a longer way. So you see, this doesn't go a long way. This goes really a long way. Cobalt blue. Here. Mungyo. Okay, there was this problem that it looks a bit like an ultramarine. You see, it's completely different colors. It goes a much longer way. Can you see it? Yes. And this is for me a real cobalt blue. This is much darker, and it's not a real cobalt blue for me. Let's go to some red. This is Scarlet from Mungyo. Nice and vibrant. It's more like a primary red. Different. Scarlet for Superior. It's completely different. This is much colder, but much more pigmented. It's more rose. And let's see something similar in Mungyo, maybe Crimson Lake. Let's try the Crimson Lake in Mungyo. No, this is rose, so I will compare the rose red. Yes, this is absolutely comparable, and much more pigmented. Let's try green now. I can try the yellow green here. Mungyo yellow green. Nice, a bit artificial. Let's see Superior. Okay, very close, but much more pigmented. It goes much longer way. Okay, now let's go back to our swatches. So for being a student grade, Superior compares very, very well with Mungyo. I think it's so much better, both in terms of composition, because they're all single pigments, and it's much more pigmented. They're both vibrant, but Superior is even more vibrant. They both in common that they make mistakes on pigments and paint names, but Mungyo is from South Korea, Superior is from China, so I understand it's not easy for them. But if you have to choose maybe an artist, a student grade paint, I suggest that you go with this Superior. We have swatched our beautiful set. I think that I'm surprised. I didn't expect this set to be so good, and the price is definitely the price of a student grade, but the performance is in between artist grade and student grade. So if you starting in watercolor, do not hesitate to go with this set. I will put a link on AliExpress where I bought it. The price point can vary, but it's generally very good. The pros are that there are many qualities in this set, that the pigments are almost all single pigments, colors are very vibrant, and there are some granulating colors. There is a good balance because there are maybe too many yellows and oranges, and some colors just look very much the same, like these yellows look very much the same. Also, they say this is transparent, but you see it's not transparent at all. And there is some confusion about what is what. This yellow medium cadmium is almost an orange, but if you get to know your paint and you just don't care about labels, you can, I think, paint very lovely sketches with this set. There are too many purples. Indigo is not the best indigo I've seen in my life, but overall the blues are very nice. The green are lovely because there are some cold phthalo greens and some muted greens, which is always a good idea, and some warmer greens. The earth tones are very nice. There are three colors that look very much the same: yellow ochre, maple yellow, and raw amber. And but you can use them because these colors are very much used. Yellow ochre is more glowing, but the raw amber is true raw sienna. You can use it. You can use it very well, for instance, for bread or croissant or landscapes. And this so-called amber is a beautiful burnt sienna. It's one of the loveliest burnt siennas that I have in my collection. They use PR101, which is a pigment that is always lovely. Also, the Pozzuoli red is a nice addition. And the browns are not bad overall. Payne's gray is very good. So there is a good balance. I don't think there is something missing. And you can definitely have a try with it and you will be happy. I hope you have liked this review, and do not hesitate to give me a thumb up if you have liked it, and also remember to subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss my next video. For the moment, that's everything, so a big ciao from Italy.